Hi everybody, I'm Bill Sanders and this is Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection. Today what I want to talk about is sort of a mid-range watch. These are watches that are not cheap, but they're not crazy expensive. They're between $5,000 and $10,000. And they represent a certain type of luxury watch that has a wide range of uses, and they're, I think for the most part, in their own way, they're very practical watches too. Whereas some of the ultra luxury watches aren't very practical. I don't think. Okay, so let's get started. The first one I want to start with, and some of these I may have mentioned before, is the Girard-Perregaux 1966 Earth to Sky edition. And this is it's got a caliber GP 03300 in it. Now, good old Girard-Perregaux has these really long caliber numbers, and it's a good standard, 4 hertz one, nothing too greatly exciting about it, but a good solid base movement to it. 40 millimeters is pretty standard. And it's got the time and date. Very clean looking. It looks almost like an H. Moser kind of dial with the just the way it sort of shines out like that. So this is one, $8,900. Now that's getting pretty near the edge of between $5,000 and $10,000 that we're working with here. But the thing about the 1966, not necessarily the Earth to Sky edition, you can find huge discounts on the secondary market for new ones. I checked it out, and you can save between $1,500 and $2,000. So be sure to go check out your Chrono 24, one of the other ones, where you can find some really good deals on the 1966. Now, this next two watches, you don't get any deals on this. You might get the opposite. One of the things that drives me crazy about Rolex is the premium they put on it. But these are actually 1.5 watches I really like. As in previous posts, I've mentioned my admiration for the Air King that nobody else seems to like too much. And a lot of people love the Milgauss. I like it too. The thing about these watches, there's about a $2,000 difference in the price, and they're both stainless steel watches with the same movement, the caliber 3131. Nothing wrong with that, but man, I'm not quite sure, one, why people don't like the Rolex Air King. I know why they like the Milgauss. I like it too. It's just sort of a cool looking watch with a lightning bolt second hand. So here you have two watches with, nice solid movement to it. Nothing exciting, but still, it's sort of good base one. So they're both 40 millimeters, and I think they're good buys. One of the problems when I say I think they're good buys is that they add these premiums, and I don't know what the premium is, and you don't find too many good deals, and unless you're getting it from an AD at the price that's listed for them on the Rolex site. Now, this next one is a brand new one. It's Glashütte Original CQ Reed Green. Now, I've got a thing about green watches. I like green dials. I don't have one, but I'd like to have one. This one is $9,000. That's getting up there as far as the types of watches we're looking at. There's something about it that is just clean as a whistle that I like. Now, I have it pictured with a fabric band on it, but it also comes with a metal bracelet, and it's like $1,200 more. So it was sort of out of the range. So I wanted to show this one. You can find really great deals on CQs. Go to the secondary market, and they are all over the place at very good discounts. This one is brand new. the CQ is with the green, reed green. And it's got a lot of cool things about it. It's got the Glashütte Original manufactured. All of these, by the way, too, all of these are manufactured by the company that has them, or they're part of a, some big conglomerate, and some other things, and I'll talk about that. But this is a Glashütte Original manufactured called the 3911. It has beveled edges, polished steel parts, polished screws, Glashütte stripe finish. Now, the Glashütte stripes is, I think that's sort of their name for what the Swiss call Geneva waves, but I don't want to start a fight. It's got a swan neck regulator on it too, for fine regulation. Cool watch, I think, and like I said, the CQ has some great deals. Again, they're not the new one, but they're the same watch. Now, this next one to me, is one of the most overlooked watches in this category. And this is Hermes Slim de Hermes. They have what they call the H1950 movement with the micro rotor in it, and so they end up with a nice thin watch because of the micro rotor for an automatic 4 hertz. Again, nothing too exciting about the 4 hertz in it. This watch has everything about it, I think, is for sort of sophisticated but not loud kind of office watch. I mean, something you'd wear every day. The fonts on it are very unique. They were made for Hermes, and I think they're cool looking. So that's another thing I like. Now, the 1950 is by Vaucher. It's VMF 5401, and I can tell you, the Vaucher movements are gems. They're wonderful movements, and my Parmigianis have them, but I also got my mitts on one that I'm going to put together in a watch. I've wound it up and tested it 5 ways from Sunday, and it is just a sweetheart of a movement. Now, having said that these are with brand manufactured movement, Hermes owns 25% of Vaucher, so that would count. 7,050. Again, you can find great deals on this. Now, when I'm talking about great deals in the secondary markets, I'm talking about brand new ones, unworn, good fishing grounds, good hunting grounds for you. So this is another one in those things, and it's very sophisticated in a way that says a lot without saying anything or without screaming. That's my opinion of it. Now, this next 2 watches they're very different in one respect. The Moonphase Classic Jaeger-LeCoultre is sort of what you might even call the original sports watch. What they did, there was a guy I think he was a British officer in India who loved Jaeger-LeCoultre watches and used to play polo in it, and they'd get busted. And he got a hold of them and said, "Look, I really like your watches, but I keep breaking them playing polo." And so they made the reverso. On one side, you have the dial, and then you flip it over, and then there's just a plain steel on the other side. And so the Moonphase Classic there, the 6451, caliber 822/2. Nice little watch. It's got a great story behind it. I think it's a fairly versatile one. It can, when you have that sort of that rectangle shape, it can sort of go a little more formal, or it can be an everyday, like an office watch or something, a little more on the formal side. Now, the other one is called the Dual Face Classic, and it's pretty much the same. The size is a little different, but they're both 3 hertz and have other kinds of features that look very much alike. The monoface dial and the dual face dial on the front look identical. Now, where the big difference is that when you flip over on the dual face, instead of having a hunk of steel there, what you have instead is that you have the black face, or the night, what I sort of either travel time face, or as I like to think of it, sort of the more elegant, the more formal face for night, and during the day, one for office work and one for stepping out at night. Now they're considerably more expensive, $9,100, but they're still within the range of watches we're talking about. Both of these watches, I think, are wonderful watches to have, and I think they're a pretty good deal. Okay, let's go on. Usually with Omegas, what we see again and again are a lot of Speedmasters, the Moon watches, and so on and so forth, which I happen to like. I really do. But they also have some other ones that I think are really worth looking at. This Constellation Globemaster Coaxial Master Chronometer, sweetheart of a watch, caliber 8900 with a METIS certified chronometer. METIS is like COSC, but they're METIS instead. 15,000 Gauss. Now, we were talking about the Milgauss, which is 1,000 Gauss. So this has got a lot of Gauss to it. And one way to really up the Gauss is to have a silicon balance spring. This has a silicon balance spring. I'm not a fan of silicon of any sort in there, including balance springs. At the same time, I know that they really make excellent balance springs for other reasons, but you can't adjust them once they're there. They're there. It's 2 barrels mounted in series, and have an unusual VPH 25,200, which is like 3.5 hertz, something very strange, strange one. Now, this watch to me is just like a great everyday solid watch. You don't look like, sometimes, Speedmaster, while they're wonderful watches, can look sort of youngish in a way that you don't want to look. I don't know if you understand what I mean by that, but the Constellation's got a little more sophistication. It doesn't look like you're some kid running around with a bubble on your head playing spaceman, but a good, solid, serious office watch. Again, nothing against a Speedmaster. Love Speedmasters. In fact, that's one I may get. I want to get the 318 or as close as I can. Now, this next watch I've mentioned before. This is a Habring2 Erwin. Here are 3 different dials on it, and the price is $6,200. Great price in this range of watches. Caliber A11S, 28,800. Again, not too exciting with that. Hand wound, 48 hours power reserve. I like the hand wound part of it. Now, they've been making different dials, but one of the things they did that I really like, there was a guy called Messina, who's an artist, a well-known one, and his own company, and was interested in doing some designs for the Erwin, some of the dials. And so he took a couple, 2 different designs, one in stainless steel and the other one in bronze. The one in stainless steel, and perhaps both of them really, he used a 1930s Patek Philippe Calatrava, reference 96, as this is the dial. He wanted the dial to look like that. And it's just the coolest dial, I think. It's the same exact Habring2, what I think A11 E or something like that. I forgot the other name of it, but it's the same movement as in the other ones for the Erwin. And the one on the stainless steel one is one of our subscribers, and he was telling me, he said one of the things that he found interesting was that they had a vertical graining in the middle, and then they have a circular graining around the outside. I thought, yeah, that is pretty cool on the stainless steel one. The bronze one, I saw one of these at Collected Man, and anything at Collected Man is sort of comes under rare and expensive in the same breath. And here was this bronze one, $64.95 was what they were originally charging for these. And so I thought, wow. So I thought, well, I'm going to take a look and see if, if there's any deals you can find at, Chrono 24, one of the other places. Well, the bronze one is selling for $12,000 now. And I thought, wow, that's so that takes it out of our bailiwick. But it was sort of an interesting thing. Most of the truth about Habring2 is that you don't find too many for sale. Some of the older ones that were sort of pre-A11. A11 is their in-house movement. You can find there. But so anyway, this is another possibility. Now, the final one I want to talk about is this Zenith Elite Classic and Elite Moonphase. The Elite has, under all of these whiz-bang movements that are coming out of Defy Labs at Zenith, the Elite is one of these movements that just has been around forever. They're reliable. I have one. I have a Zenith Elite GMT. It's been a great watch, great price, much overlooked. You go online, you can find some great deals, some really good buys, brand new on these watches too. But to me, the Elite Classic on the left, the blue one, is just, just a really pretty watch. Nothing fancy, but not boring. Interesting watch. The Moonphase on the right is really very different. It has a couple things, the Moonphase obviously, but it also has small seconds over toward 9 o'clock. And I'm not sure why they did that. I suppose I say, well, you got the Moonphase down at 6 o'clock, was not exactly any room for a small second, so they put it there. I don't know why they didn't use central seconds like they had on the Classic, but that was the decision they made. Either one of these I like. I have very good luck with them, in-house Zenith Elite movement. So anyway, let me know what you think. And also, too, I like to get suggestions from you. Say, look, here's a watch between $5,000 and $10,000 that's really good, and I think it's something that collectors ought to consider. And this is an invitation to subscribe if you like. And until next time, this is Bill Sanders for Watch Art Side, the Art and Science of Watch Collection.